All right, and we're good to go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Worldhoppers. This is a collaborative channel where all of the AdSense revenue and merch sales goes to charity. And today's video, even though most of our videos are pretty casual, today's is especially so. It's very unstructured, a little chaotic, because it is another edition of Let's Argue, where we just make fun of each other for the books we do and do not like that the others do and do not like. So I'm going to instigate initially here because just today had a video go up about it was today I think that the books that betrayed you, and you mentioned that you would not tolerate anybody saying anything negative about Kale from the Throne of Glass series. So Roger, what do you have to say about that?
Expletive.
No.
My honor. I just started Tower of Dawn yesterday.
Oh, the best book in the series. Okay.
I'm already. He has no personality.
What?
He cares about honor, but like his honor doesn't stop him from working against this evil king that he knows is murdering.
He's conflicted. People. Okay.
I mean, maybe on the inside, but actions speak louder than words.
Okay? He's got mental and emotional abuse from his father. Okay, there's a lot of trauma there. Okay, he's watching his best friend go through all these things and be manipulated by this woman that he also has feelings for. Please.
But he's just gonna watch from like around the corner, like
no. Okay, he can't always just jump into things. He's got to be cautious sometimes, or he'd be dead.
Isn't he the captain of the city guards and good at fighting?
Yes, he has fought. Okay, but he sometimes is my mental block. Selena.
In some ways,
without spoilers, at the beginning of what is it, book 4, he is so mean to her.
For but she is actually the
they're
worst.
They're very petty sniping at each other. They both snipe at each other, but he is like out of left field, just like gunning for her.
He's having his heart broken, and I understand.
What heart? Okay. He's boring.
Sarah set him up to just
boring people don't have hearts.
So like,
no,
no, only fun, exciting, moody people. I mean, I think in some ways he's like the anti-Selena because he.
Don't try to come in here with your reason. This is a fight. This is a brawl. I mean, I don't love... Her characters are not necessarily what I find interesting in her stories in the first place. I like her world-building ideas, and some of the plot things are pretty cool, but the characters are not. Especially the romantic plot.
I wanted Joshana to be in this video because she also has some differing opinions, and she hates Kale with a burning passion. She hates him so much.
She hates everyone I love. Like, she would have been here yelling about Dara, and I would have had to jump through the screen. Like,
I know. I wish from the City of Brass series for anybody who doesn't know, but I wish, because she's even messaged me like, I don't get why Just likes him.
I'm like, Joshana, I'm not listening to your message about Dara. He is. I just rebuke. So like everything Roger just said, I didn't even hear it. I don't know what he said because I didn't hear it.
Your brain stops listening when someone speaks nonsense.
Yeah, it's just like
I mean, it was like perfect.
Wah, 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 and I'm like,
she won't even. She made me. So she's hooked me into this Throne of Glass reread, but then she's like, "I'm not rereading Throne of Dawn or Tower of Dawn. You're on your own." And I was like,
"Dang, that's low."
She's just reading like a recap summary online.
She was like, "Here, this summary is honestly serviceable. It's all you need to know."
It's so good. It's fine. There's some really, pivotal characters in that book besides Kale, but it's fine.
I am reading it. I am reading it.
Jesse, did you read that series?
Mm-hmm.
That's what
I'm just so indifferent to Kale that I just don't care either way.
Who did you like and who did you dislike in that?
I feel like very similar to Roger, where those characters, like, I do not care about at all. It's more of like I just like her the bingeable writing that she has and the plots and kind of the twists and turns. That's what kept me engaged. But I did not care at the end of the day about really any of the characters.
You know what? It's kind of like watching a sports game where you like the sport, but neither team is your team. So you're like, I mean, I don't really care who wins, but like, look at everybody getting pumped about this awesome interception. You know, that's kind of what it feels like.
I feel like I have a closer connection to it because I hadn't been reading for so long. And then it was one of the first series I read after being in like a multi-year long slump. So because I went back to reread it and I was like, okay, I see some issues now, but it will always be right here because and it was like the first thing I was reading as I discovered the book internet. So like that people had book boyfriends and what an OTP was and everything. So like Kale was my first book boyfriend. Okay, so he's always gonna have a special place right here.
That's how I feel. I feel the same exact way about Shadow and Bone. That was like my first foray back into reading, and like Bookstagram was like hyping up Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, and that was like one of the very first series that I read.
What a time!
God. Now, what a great segue. What a great segue, because Roger thinks King of Scars is better than Six of Crows.
Wait, repeat? Let me turn up my volume because I don't think I heard you. Hold up.
Roger, you should hype up this book you like.
I like the King of Scars duology better than I like the Six of Crows duology.
How is that possible?
Because the plot is more interesting. We're not just stealing things from people. We're not moody for being moody. We're not having the...
It's called... emotions. Do you not like people with emotional trauma, Roger? Okay.
No.
They have been through things, and so they're scarred. King of Scars has emotional trauma. Did you read the Grisha trilogy?
Yeah.
Before that?
Yeah.
And
I read them in publication order.
And so you still liked King of Scars better than that's.
I sure did. Because the plot was much more interesting to me.
Klaus from the contradictorian? Is that how you say that word?
I think so.
How do you say that word? Klaus hates the King of Scars duology. Like Rule of Wolves, I've never seen someone passionately hate that book more than Klaus. So if he was here, I feel like I have to channel Klaus.
I haven't read it yet because I was so disappointed in King of Scars because Nikolai was everything, and then I was like, yes, and then it was like, this is
he wasn't really in it.
Book.
Yeah,
and Nikolai is a feature, and I'm like, but to me, I felt like Leigh Bardugo's writing in the Grisha trilogy, and then Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, and then King of Scars and Ninth House. Like, I'm just like, Leigh, we're going backwards here, girl. It's not giving. Like, King of Scars. What was that mess in the middle? How are you gonna rewrite your own magic system? How are you gonna do that? Like, how are you gonna go backwards?
That's how I felt. Yeah.
I'm kind of with you, Roger. Not that I like the King of Scars duology more than Six of Crows. I still like Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom more, but I actually really had a lot of fun with the King of Scars duology. So I'm kind of like,
this half of the screen versus.
Elle, have you read Rule of Wolves? Because I haven't read it.
I DNF'd it. Pretty quickly. I didn't read. I was like, you know what? I don't care. Because
it goes beyond the stuff that you don't like relatively quickly. You are just channeling your inner Deshauna and DNFing on page 3.
Not page 3. Thank you very much. Deshauna is not here to defend herself, although I don't know if she would even be upset about that. She's like, that's right. If you're not happy with it. But no, because I really wasn't sure if I was even going to pick up Rule of Wolves because there were so many things I didn't like about King of Scars, not just the like reveal at the very end. That wasn't the only thing.
Hate.
Yes, I didn't like that reveal, but also literally as soon as we got to the second half of the book. Sorry, who am I echoing in? Is it Jesse? No, is it Jess? Okay, sorry, Jess. I think I'm echoing through yours. But with King of Scars, it was literally, I was loving it so much. I was like, this might be my favorite Leigh Bardugo book. And then we got to I don't want to give away spoilers, but there's a moment where it's suddenly like, now we're going to a different location. And everything from there, I was like, this is stupid. I don't like this. It felt like she was changing kind of what Jess said. Her established world building that she'd already done in 5 other books. So I was like, I don't like this. And I will say I've read Shadow and Bone twice, that trilogy.
I mean, you could call it a deepening of the lore.
Was
It's not
it-
necessarily a pivot.
No.
Well, Elle's opinion doesn't matter because she didn't finish the duology. So
That's my opinions about King of Scars. And then with Rule of Wolves, I realized immediately there's another character a lot of people love from the Six of Crows duology who is in the King of Scars duology. And their plotline was so boring to me. And they're like, I didn't mind that their magic was warped because of events that happened in Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I didn't mind that their magic was changing. I was like, okay, this is cool. But their plotline was so boring to me. I don't know. Even though I did like the first half of King of Scars, but I also was waiting for there to be a little bit more tying certain characters together.
Yeah.
And I get that those characters, I'm sure, have more relevance to each other's plot lines in Rule of Wolves. But in King of Scars, I just was like, as soon as I started Rule of Wolves, I was like, all right, I'm ready to I've accepted that this is just how it is in this in King of Scars, so let's move on. And then I'm like, I don't care. I really don't. So I could, if I care enough, I'll look up a summary.
Grisha to me is kind of like MCU movies. It's like popcorn good times. I'm not exactly sitting here with my red yarn being like, this doesn't connect.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Roger. I was kind of just along for the ride. Didn't really care.
I will say I was never a big, well, I mean, Jess already said the character's name. I think most people know who the main focus is. I was never a huge Nikolai fan anyway, so I was
main focus.
Yeah, and then so I didn't mind him not being as in it. That wasn't one of my complaints because I didn't mind getting to know more about another character. I actually quite liked that character, but then the person from Six of Crows Crooked Kingdom, I was like, I don't.
You can say it. Lee revealed it. You can say it. It's fine.
It's okay.
The person, but Nikolai didn't seem the same. So I'm like, but you wrote him. It felt like she took over someone else's story because Nikolai just didn't. He didn't feel the same to me. And some people said he wasn't meant to be a main character or whatever. And I'm like, I just think she didn't have what it took to make him a main character. Maybe that's harsh. And I did getting more with Zoya, but
I love Zoya.
Other POV that came in that wasn't those two ladies or Nikolai, I was like, do not care. And it just, no. It's beautiful. I still have a copy of it. I think I have two. I think I got the regular one and a Loom Crate, and it's on my shelf. But every time Rule of Wolves comes in from the library, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I
can
just read
see
it.
Why
just
people
read it.
Don't
Maybe
like
look at the
it.
audio.
I can definitely see why. I just had fun with it.
I just think it's funny that Roger thinks it's better than Six of Crows because in general, I feel like
Yeah,
I enjoy Six of Crows. I don't know that I love it to the degree. Some people are like, it's perfect. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know if I think it's perfect. I enjoyed it, but some people lose their minds over.
I just love the characters so much.
Well, I think I'm more of a plot-driven reader than I am a character-driven reader. So sitting here in their moody ass feels is like
Casbrecker, okay.
I am excited to see that in adaptation form when we finally get their storyline because I think it's
heist things are already better in adaptation.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the few. We're supposed to be arguing. I was gonna say that's one of the few adaptations that.
Okay, no more agreeing. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, Roger, you said that you were prepared, that you watched videos and then you were.
So
ready.
Jessie May, you during your bookshelf tour last year said that you love this travesty known as The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine.
How do you not like The Last Mrs.
I'm very confused.
I don't know what that book is.
It's a domestic thriller where everybody is just awful the whole time.
Wait, what's the title? What's the title?
The
Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine.
Good. Of course,
I feel like I can see the
cover, but it's like a train wreck you can't turn away from.
I wanted to turn away from it. I'm glad I had it on audio because I definitely cranked that speed.
You're like, no, to the max.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like I've seen that cover. I'm
pulling it up so that we can.
To be fair, if you don't like domestic thrillers, don't read it. Usually in domestic thrillers, no one's really that likable.
Yeah.
like you definitely don't root for anyone in here. But what I really loved about, and again, I think that because this was one of my first introductions into domestic thrillers, I had never read anything like it. And the story, you think it's going one way the whole first half of the book, and then something happens right in the middle where you are just like, oh my God. And it goes a completely different direction. I was shocked, twisty twist to the max. I did not see it coming, and I loved it for it. Like,
Rogers.
so
Judgment.
yes, like everyone's the worst, but I loved it.
It was also my introduction to domestic thrillers, and I don't know that I will ever read another one.
Roger, it looked like
You
it
should not.
froze on your screen because you just held the judgmental face for so long. Yeah, he
Oh my
was so
gosh.
not in relation to you, Jesse, but that's the one when you were reading, you were just like, what is this? She's like stalking and like blaming everything on these other people, and she's making
And like
them, like
gaslighting to the max, making people think that they're like having dementia and need to leave their job, and like it is awful.
you know what?
no,
though?
you would not like domestic thrillers.
Some people are very catty and are very manipulative, but they do it in a way where to your face they're very innocent. And sometimes even people you know, and sometimes the people you're friends with, and you're like, am I just imagining things? Am I going crazy here? What's happening? And I feel like domestic thrillers, it's like that feeling, except for you're like, I knew I was right. It's like confirmation bias towards all the catty, manipulative people in the world.
I'm curious, Roger, were you surprised by the twist halfway through?
Not really, because I got the impression that things were not as they seemed in that relationship.
Yeah.
Because I was already like,
yeah. Yeah. I was surprised.
And then in the second half, I got a little sexual assaulty for extended periods of time. And
you would not like domestic thrillers. I'm gonna say, like, if you
they have pretty similar themes. You read,
Yes.
you're like, oh, you both suck.
Well, I was like, I asked my friend, and I was like, I want to try a thriller. I was like, I like things like Scream, and like I gave like all these like murdery thriller things. And I also had mentioned that one movie with what is it, Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. I can't remember what it's called. And I was like, that movie was kind of fun. And then she like gave me this, and I was like,
oh yeah, no, I don't think domestic thriller is your subgenre of thriller.
Have you read any Harlan Coben?
Ooh,
Me?
Runaway is fantastic by Harlan Coben.
I could see you maybe liking those. They're still like very small setting, but I feel like they're not, at least I think I've read one or two of them. They're not as like twist. Well, some of them are twisted, like there's a murderer, kind of a thing sometimes, but I don't feel like someone's going around like disguising themselves as someone's wife, or like, you know what I'm saying? It's more of like someone's murdered, and then it's a small town. They're trying to figure out who did it and stuff. So maybe, but I don't have a ton of experience. So Jesse would be better.
I think if you wanted to try a different thriller that wasn't like a domestic thriller,
because that's clearly not my genre, because it's garbage. I was just like, you suck. Oh, I thought I could kind of root for you, but you also suck.
They're all awful people. Every domestic thriller I've read, like everyone is a dislikable character.
Now I want to pick this up just to see where I fall on it.
You can't want to root for your characters. Like, they're horrible people.
Buddy read it, Elle, and see what we think.
Okay.
Oh God, see, both of you are gonna hate it. You're gonna come after me. No, don't read it.
Oh, speaking of Jess and I ganging up on Jesse, dude, she knows, don't you? What do you think? What do you think we're gonna say?
Project Hail Mary, and I don't want to hear it.
Okay, to be fair, I haven't read Project Hail Mary. I've read, well, actually, I DNF'd The Martian, but I read enough of it.
I already watched Jess's vlog on it. I don't need
It's best of the year. Like, I knew he was gonna win best sci-fi because popular white dude. But all those pages, and yet what did he give? Nothing.
Some context too, because this is like a part 2 in a sense. We filmed the favorites of the year, I think, and Jesse and Jess and myself were in it. And Jesse was hyping up Project Hail Mary, and we were. I was so she was saying that even if you didn't like The Martian, you should still try Project Hail Mary because she's like, I really think you're gonna like it. I really think you'll like it. And I was like, okay.
Biggest
And
regret.
And Jess already was gonna pick it up for like a patron buddy read, and then she did for that and a vlog. And
wow.
You have to admit, Jess, there's one additional element that's not present in The Martian that if you like this additional element, it could make it better.
Yes.
I don't want to say what
could.
it is because it's a spoiler.
It could.
it's like a companion trope, right?
But if that isn't like something that you absolutely loved, then it's definitely not gonna work.
Yeah. It just
I'm
not some science person, you know, I'm not like, oh my God, that is supposed to be carbon and not whatever. Like, Roger, don't judge me. Okay, I'm not smart. But so that's rarely in a science fiction is that my gripe. But there's a part in it where language is involved. Yeah. And I was like, oh no. Okay, 12 hours and you've decoded an entire language and taught. No, please.
Yeah, I think that one is one. Actually, my uncle in real life read that book, and that was like the moment he did after the book was that moment. And I was like, you know, you just kind of have to suspend your disbelief. Like, if we sat here and read the entire length of time that it would normally take those characters to interact, like it would be so boring. Like, I don't want to sit through that. So like,
it's like the opposite of Arrival, the movie. Well, technically that's based off of a short story, I think. But it's like the opposite where they're trying really hard to like be like, they like have a picture of their name and they like point to themselves and then that.
Yes, like I get it. Like they have to figure out how to communicate. Like, can we speed things along a little bit? Because like that's not the point of the story.
Like, you can allude to time passing. And that was another thing. I was like, how much time has passed? Because didn't he only have, like, for some time, it would be like a couple weeks. I'm like, I'm so confused. Has it been a day? Has it been a week? Has it been 3 months? What is going on? And then the whole, flashbacks or dual timelines is very tricky to work. Sometimes you're just like, do we need this? But going back and that lady, that is something that bothered me. I'm like, ma'am, I don't think you could just commandeer an Air Force jet to take this man from wherever he was over here in China. I just was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed in Jess's blog though when she was reading an excerpt of these like random scientists that are like, I enjoy having sexual intercourse with this. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was like, do you want to have some after when we take a break? Oh, yes, sir. I would like to have some.
I have 10 minutes. See you there. I was like, why is this so weird? His humor also just like, it does not work for me. I think that's a big thing too, because humor is subjective. But I was like, okay, maybe if I was a 13-year-old boy, I think this was funny, but I just rolled my eyes for so much of that book.
Understand.
Well, that's why I tend not to read sci-fi because I get very judgy about the science.
Yeah, but I would be very curious. I actually kind of want you to try The Martian because that was his first one, I believe. I would be curious to see. Although, I mean, it's a different kind of science, but for those that don't know, Roger is very smart when it comes to that particular subject. So, but I mean, okay, I will say when I was younger, and I say I used to be good at like math and science and things because I think like anything, when you've not been involved with it for a long time, you forget and you like lose the skill. But it just felt like he would just throw numbers and like equations and things at you for pages. Like the character, it is somewhat of a journal entry format in that one. So it makes sense. But it would be like, and then I did this, and then I did this, and that I realized that wasn't gonna work because this over this is the, and I'm like, it feels like you're just sort of throwing stuff out there that I believe most of it does check out, but that doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, like make for a good.
I don't want to read that.
I thought it was so fascinating. I loved it.
I was like, Skip, you can like explain it, but I don't need to see the equations to the 15th power divided by blah, blah, blah. And
then you have the occasional person that like gets really nitpicky because there will be because obviously it's still science fiction. So there's still something that you have to make up. And I think there was one person that was like, there aren't wind speeds strong enough for the speed at which he described that would require him to have crashed there in the first place. And they're like, so the whole premise of the book is impossible. You know, like somebody was really mad that like the wind speeds were incorrect, and then that the whole plot then couldn't have happened. And I'm like, I could see if you care a lot about that, that would bother you. But I feel like most readers are just going to be like, okay, and then don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. I'm not saying like, how dare he not have, because again, it's fiction, so it doesn't bother me too much. But at some point, my big thing with a lot of sci-fi, I've said this before, is I wouldn't say this for The Martian necessarily, but a lot of sci-fi, I'm like, just call it magic. Like, because there's almost like a level of respect given to sci-fi authors for like the pseudoscience. And I'm like, they're just making it up. It's still not real though. Like, it's still incredible that they came up with something that like you can connect the dots and understand like how you get from here to here. But I will see credit given to their, I don't know, like how intelligent they are in this field and stuff. And I'm like, they're just making it up. You know, it's like magic.
I know for The Martian, I don't know if this was the same for Project Hail Mary, because The Martian was originally self-published and all the science in the book was crowdsourced. So he had like asked other experts to like weigh in on a lot of the science that he had included. I'm sure there's still inaccuracies, but that part didn't bother me about The Martian. I found it pretty engaging throughout. I really liked it. But I can see if you do not care, I can totally see it not working.
I think it's hard too because I'm a big fan of comedy in general. Like I know a lot of comedians are not to people's taste because they go really far with stuff. But I enjoy comedy and I consume a lot of it. And then just the art form itself is, some comedians, I'm like, it's kind of genius. I mean, the amount of material you have to come up with because they write their own shows and then they have to perform it. And then the way that they can like play off the audience and stuff like that. In my opinion, that's like that requires a lot of intelligence and quick wit. And it is funny because I think that takes a lot of intelligence too. So it is funny because like he'll throw out all these crowdsourced, apparently, you know, in The Martian, like you were saying, science. And then his humor is like middle school humor. And I'm just like, I don't like this. And I don't know. It's like, I think we as a society place so much value in somebody's intelligence if they are good at certain things, science included. And I think he is. I'm not saying I think the guy isn't smart. I think he's really smart. But it's like, we automatically like, what a smart book. And I'm like, the one where he like, when he's writing back to people on Earth, he makes the shape of a woman's chest in response. This guy who's stranded on Mars, who's like finally got contact with people on Earth, and he sends a lady's chest like with the parentheses and stuff. I'm like, wow, yeah, what a guy.
I also found Project Hail Mary because I read The Martian. I found them to be very similar. Like there are differences, but I was like, this guy is Mark Watney 2.0. Like the character at least feels very, very similar. And I was, because at the beginning, how it starts, I was like, ooh, okay. I thought we were going in a different direction. And then as it, and that thing that I can't tell people about because it would ruin a twist, but you figure out why a certain person is here. I was like, oh, please.
I know what the twist is you're talking about.
Going back with him in how the flashbacks, and I was like, no, the way it was structured, it was just too.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to say too much, but there's like a I don't remember things trope, right?
Yeah,
the way he like conveniently remembers everything in the way that would best serve the plot. Like it's very like, now I remember exactly what I need to remember for this, and now I remember everything I need for this, instead of like remembering, you know, like
certain things are his flashbacks. Yeah,
it's very sequential, and I'm like, okay, cool. But you know, if you enjoyed it, I'm sure his next pick will be hot on the streets. But me and Andy, we're done. We're done.
You know what's funny is I feel like that's one of the books that people get the most like, I'm going to leave you a dissertation in the comments when I'm like, I wasn't really a fan. And people will be like, let me tell you why it was great. And here we are, like, we're supposed to be arguing, but then we're like, I can see that. I get it. It's like,
in that, because let me tell Jesse about the love hypothesis, because
wait. Jess, I've read it. I read it.
Oh, recently. Okay. What did
that was what I wanted to bring up.
What did you?
I didn't hate it. And
Okay,
I
well
do
then
wanna say
your points aren't valid then. I mean, it's hard. It's just garbage.
well, hold on. I want to, because you don't know my thoughts on it because I only just read it. I thought it was like popcorn, like just like the main thing that
The
gets the plot
seeds.
going is like kind of ridiculous.
The
And
kernel.
he's like such a ditz, the main character, like, very much is her personality. But it was still like, it was silly. It was just a silly
was
fluffy.
dumb.
Adorable.
Roger, do you ever read romance?
I mean, not really. And Sarah J. Maas is making me want to never go there because every time I talk to Jashana about it, I'm like, I can't stand these alpha male, this protective garbage. And she's like, well, that's in a lot of romance. And I was like, well, screw that whole genre then, because I'd rather rip out my own eyes.
Not all of them, but people are like, love hypothesis is grumpy sunshine. And I'm like, it's cardboard and sprinkles. Like, he just is like, he has some personality, he has no emotion. And then her entire personality is, I drink frappuccinos and I eat bad junk food. I'm poor. That's it. I'm like, oh my God, do you have any other personality traits? Oh my God, I just ate a bag of chips. That was all I ate today. Oh my God, I had a frappuccino. That's all I had today. I'm like, okay, I do love to snack. Is there anything else? And yeah, the premise of the whole thing is terrible. I'm like, you just ran up. Oh my God, I just ran up to somebody and kissed him. And I didn't realize it was Professor. I already forgot his name.
Adam, right?
Something, but she kept saying like his whole name. And I'm like, oh, you really didn't see a man you had to reach up to and grab his face and kiss, and you didn't see who that was.
I thought he was sitting. Not that that's important.
I thought he was standing, but that could be wrong. I don't know.
Maybe I don't remember the exact positioning of the character.
But I'm just
in
like,
that moment. But yes, the inciting incident, we'll call it, that gets everything moving is silly. It's for sure.
Sounds like a sexual harassment lawsuit waiting
well,
to happen.
okay, wait. That's a big joke.
it.
Here's the thing. I will set it out for you, Roger. At the beginning of the book, she like runs up and she's like, "Can I kiss you?" And then just like kisses someone because she had promised her friend, her like best friend. Her best friend is wanting to date a guy that the main character used to date, and the main character is totally fine with it. She can see that her friend and this guy are like perfect for each other, but her friend has the like, you know, sisters before misters rule, and she's like, I just want my friend to realize that I don't care, but she doesn't believe me, and so she tells her friend she's going on a date. And then so she sees her friend in the hallway and she's like, oh no, they're PhD students. She's like, oh no, my friend's gonna realize I lied to her. And so she just like runs over to the first person. She's like, can I kiss you? And then she like kisses the person really quick. And then she's like, I'm so sorry. And then she's like explaining what happened, which I'm like, I feel like the serious guy would be like, this girl's dumb.
But also, what grad student has enough time to come up with this like Machiavellian plot about convincing somebody else that I'm not?
I'm like, it. Then also because I'm not in academia, but I think it's a Title IX. Like he like teasingly threatens with like to file basically like a sexual harassment thing against her. And I remember in my review, some people were like, that Title IX is serious. And I was like, yes, it is, and it shouldn't be a joke. I don't know. She was dumb. You don't have to have like streets or common sense, and you can be book smart because she was a PhD, right?
She is most definitely all book smarts and zero common sense.
None. And she also with, I think Angela read it and she liked it. Her only complaint I thought was funny was because you know she's always talking about being poor, and she's like, because Angela just graduated with her PhD. Oh my God, I know so many smart people. And then when she was talking about what she made, you know, for her PhD, and this person's at Stanford, like, one, did the author not do any research into how much she would get paid? Because I think she would make more money than that. But separately,
how much did it say that she got paid?
I can't remember. I feel like it was something low. I thought it did, but maybe.
PhD stipends are usually in the realm of about 30 to 35K a year.
I thought that is what it was. I thought it was like she could barely afford housing or something.
That sounds accurate. That sounds accurate.
Yeah.
Because I think the author is I think
she has a PhD, right? Or she's some kind of scientist.
Didn't she write it for fun initially? Wow. Initially.
Well,
like it was just like a fun little
fanfic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
fiction of Kylo Ren and Rey from Star
Yeah,
Wars.
because isn't that why the main sorry, I'm always shouting. Isn't that why the main character's name, the guy, is Adam?
Adam,
Adam Driver.
But like, because I knew that, but I haven't watched Star Wars, so like I know of them. I didn't know them or whatever. But also the interaction. So the trope is fake dating. They're both like conveniently have these things where what does he need to date her so the university doesn't think he's gonna leave? And
Yeah,
they'll
the
grant him
university,
money.
because he's like a brilliant mind, and they think he's gonna leave for Harvard.
Yeah.
And they want him to stay, but they don't want to, like, they're kind of holding out on giving him funding because they think he's just gonna leave.
And so like, if I get a girlfriend, that convinced him I settle down. I'm like,
What
okay.
department was he theoretically in?
Was it like bio? It was some kind of biology or chemistry.
Okay, well, my disbelief is already gone because the university doesn't give you money. You get it from the government. You file them NIH grants and NSF grants. It's not from the university.
I'm pretty sure it was science something. But
yeah, because she's studying
something like cancer.
earlier detections of pancreatic cancer, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like somewhere in that field.
He's one of her like he's above. He's an advisor or something in that program, like not hers directly, I don't think, but like she would be under him. You can tell we don't know the world of PhDs.
So he's like a chair in the department or something that she's in, not necessarily her actual PI.
And everything is, oh my God, he's the worst. He's so mean. And you do see a few, but I'm like, I hate when you keep telling me a character is a certain way and you don't show it. Like you just see maybe like 2 interactions of him being like a little stricter on people, like, no, he's the worst. Adam, whatever. But I'm like, if this is fake dating, you need to sell the relationship. They would like have a coffee date at Starbucks and be like, all right, see you next week. Or her best friend was the worst because she was so pushy towards her, but she'd be like, girl, sit on his lap, right? Okay. If you get past the part that her friend was pushing her, she's like, oh my God, I can't do it. I can't sit on his lap in front of all his colleagues. I'm like, she's like, go put sunscreen on. Oh my God, I can't do, like, I'm like, you have to sell this relationship.
I ate it up.
Oh my God. I was like, who would buy this relationship? Who would think this man
I
is
just
in a
want to
committed
say,
relationship?
I just want to say really quick, okay? Even having been with Sean, it'll be not married, but together for 10 years this year, and married for a lot of that time. I do not want to sit on his lap in public. I will say I am not a fan of that kind of PDA. We'll hold hands. I'll give him a smooch, but I don't want to sit on anybody's lap in front of everybody. So that part when her friend's like, because the reason that happens, Roger, is because there's like a really crowded, like not a lecture, like a literal classroom setting, but like someone's giving a talk, and like they're all there, kind of like casually listening and whatnot. And it's so crammed that her friend's like, your boyfriend's right there, just sit on his lap, because it's like we're all smushed together. She's like, so she does. And that made me uncomfortable because I'm like, first off, I don't even want to sit on my husband's lap in public. Second, she's not even actually dating this man, and he's a professor. And I'm like, oh no.
And you can't sit on somebody's lap? No, that's ludicrous. I was like, girl, if you don't sit down and shut up. She was getting on my nerves. I cannot relate because I'm having
I love it.
I love it. And all of the things also, again, back to her crappy best friend, when they go to like, what was it, a conference that they're presenting at in Boston, I think.
Yeah, because they go to Harvard.
They were all supposed to room together, like her like two friends, and they like don't tell her, and they're like, oh yeah, I know the things next weekend, but like I'm kind of staying with this person, and he's staying with this person, so we don't know where you're gonna stay. And so of course she ends up in the hotel with Adam. And I'm like, oh.
It's so cute.
I will in the book's defense say that if I thought my friend was like seriously dating someone, I would be like, oh well, it would make sense that you would think they would maybe stay. But I also get her friends kind of like, I was waiting for the moment for Adam to be like, your friends kind of suck, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are aware. But you know what? You find out stuff about people he's friends with, so
yeah. But I would at least be like, oh, so I know we were supposed to room, but I'm assuming you're staying with your boo or something, right? Not just make plans.
Yeah, no,
and of course, there's one bed, and that's fine.
No,
right?
There's 2 beds. There are 2 beds.
They had to share the one. It's so cute.
There are 2 beds. I'm going to correct you, miss. There are 2 beds.
It's so cute.
Oh, I don't remember.
2, but mayhaps they didn't use both of them.
Oh, okay. No, I think
It's
there was that
adorable.
she kept
Everyone should read it.
making a point of there's 2 beds. What if there's only 1 bed? You know what happens in romance novels? There's usually only 1 bed. I was like, shut. I don't like meta things like that sometimes in books, but also that people were like, oh my god, it's so steamy. From what?
There's one scene.
Awkward scene where he references, I forgot, dang it. I could probably go to my Kindle notes. It was something about either her like ability, like to be pregnant or something. You know what? I have to go to my Kindle.
What?
Hold up. This is,
I don't
I know
remember.
there was some terrible line I marked. Something, hold up.
I know.
the words he was
I know what you're talking
uttering-
about. I know what you're talking about. I you don't need to look it up because I know exactly what it is. He's
I need the
very-
receipts, Jess. Find it.
No, I know
I want
what
to
it
know
is.
about her
He's-
fertility or whatever.
No, that's not what it is. He's super. I agree with Jess. This was weird. He's super tall, right? And so she thinks like proportionally, she's small, he's tall.
She's gonna
right?
look like a hamster chewing a banana. Sure.
So no, not even that. Like, as in more like if he and her become one. We'll put it that way. I'm trying to be PG here, but
He's gonna fill up
she
her
thinks-
glove.
and she thinks to herself, surely she can handle that. I mean, women push out babies.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yes.
what Jess is talking about.
It's ridiculous. He also mentions how he fit her whole boob in his mouth. And then Mara forever thinks that I hate against the itty bitty titty committee. And I do not. I would love to be on that committee, but that's just a really weird line. And her name is Olive. And he's like, you're edible, Olive. And that just seems like that just sounded stupid. Like, what? Itch is no.
I will say though, there is a scene in Take a Hint, Eve Brown, that I was instantly like,
Okay, which one? Because Take a Hint
Actor
is
age.
Danny Brown,
It's
or
the
Or
third
Taking It,
one.
Danny Brown.
It's
Get a
actor
Life,
age Eve Brown.
Actor, okay.
Yeah, actor age Eve Brown. In that one, there's man, I don't want to give too many details because again, this is for charity, but there's a part where she has something that she likes to use that does not require another person, right? We'll put it
Okay.
that way. And the guy finds it like in the couch, like shoved in the couch, and then
You gotta immobilize it somehow.
and then he puts it in his mouth, and I'm like, dust and hair like would definitely be on top.
He might have dusted it off.
He did not dust it off, okay? He did not.
No,
He didn't
that
at
was
all. He was caught up in the
so
moment, but in my mind, I'm like, ugh.
It's not comparisons, apples, oranges.
No, it is.
That's the same.
Okay, if I drop like a cracker on my couch, I'm like, you know what? This is not going in my mouth.
Well, you also have Luna,
What?
who makes an inordinate amount of hair.
The girl has been sleeping on this couch. Her sweat and her hair and her
How much do
body.
you
Like,
sweat while you sleep?
what?
Oh, you said she's been sleeping on this couch, so her sweat. And so I was like, wait, how much do you sweat when you sleep?
Okay, have you seen those
Just-
like things that show you just how much stuff is in your bed? Like all
So
the
you're
dust.
saying
and-
if a snack drops on your couch, you're not going to eat it because I'm going to eat it.
Okay, wait, hold on.
I'm going to
You're
eat it.
just right. I do have Luna, but I'm like,
I-
okay, this is something. This is something where there's essentially an adhesive now on this object. That's
Adhesive?
kinda like,
What, you secrete glue? I mean, I know I'm gay, but damn.
no,
I'm-
bodily flush. Roger, okay, let's.
I'm
do
not
this.
computing.
I know
I'm not
that
gonna
you-
do
It was
it. It's fine.
fantastic.
I
I
know
have to go get my
you don't have-
popcorn.
I know that you sometimes have to ask us questions about how things work and all, but you're also a scientist, okay? You understand.
I mean, pH is real.
You understand that bodily fluids left on something can like make it a little, less less slick.
A little tacky.
Yes, there you go, tacky.
So then
and
he
if
moistens
it's
it up.
shoved in your couch and you've been like that, and it's an old couch. It's an old couch.
But it's really clean, so it probably was really clean in there anyway. And so, in the heat of the moment, he wasn't gonna say, "Oh, hold on, let me stop and let me go get a wipe and clean this off."
I know, but I'm just saying. Sometimes romance books have weird
What I'm hearing,
moments that, like, if you take them out of context,
what I'm hearing,
no.
Jesse,
is
what
that,
do you think?
the moral of this story is that
Is don't read the love hypothesis.
are very subjective.
Don't read the love hypothesis. No, because romance always. I mean, if you take something out of context in a romance, yes. But I'm sorry, saying, "Oh, can I fit? Because you're made to birth a child." It's so unsexy.
He didn't say that.
Like,
He doesn't say it to her. She thinks it. She
It's-
thinks she can handle it because she's like,
That's a weird thought to have in the middle of it, though.
Because she's dumb and
Instantly dry as the Sahara.
Yes. It was not giving anything. I was like, my God, can we get over with this? That is skim. Terrible. So
I really liked it.
She wrote some more books for y'all, so I guess y'all eating. That's great. Eating your dry food, the bland food.
I need Mara here with me.
what did Mara say about
She
it?
loved it.
She loves the love hypothesis.
But she also likes lizard men stuff. Like, I mean, the bar is not particularly high.
I was watching a recent one, and she was talking. Was it I wanted to say a bison man, but that wasn't it. Or no, some creature.
I saw that video. Mara,
Bison man.
He loves her like speculative fiction. And I know there's been like Lizard Man.
it was on like Minotaur.
Morning Glory Milking Farm. Was that the one with the? I can't think of the animals, but there's like different animal beasts.
I need her to read A Game of Fate so that we can talk about it. I need someone else to read that book.
Oh
I will not. It will not be me. So sorry.
There's a part in What We Do in the Shadows. I love that show. Roger recently watched it. And there's a part where one of the characters is talking about because they're vampires and they've lived for a really long time. And there was a period of time where he was in a bunch of adult film, but it was like old-timey adult film. And they show it like a montage of the adult films that he's been in throughout the years, the decades. And his wife doesn't think they're very good. And he's like, I just don't think she gets the plots. And Roger sent me that. And he's like, this is people explaining to you why A Game of Fate is good.
It sounds like something. Does not sound good.
Okay, Elle, it's time for you to defend yourself because
do it.
This series, I think you recognize the color of the covers right here.
Oh yeah, I've already given her grief for this.
Yeah,
I need you to defend your love of this series without talking about the video games.
You want me to explain my love?
Without talking about the video games because I don't understand. Nothing happens. It's just
I know.
boring.
I agree.
Series of all time.
I'm so sad.
I
will
can't
just be like,
remove,
I understand.
I already had a love for those characters, and that's what kind of kept me going. I will say I do find Andrei Sapkowski's writing funny. I think he's amusing. Like some of the narration is very not meta, like what Jess was saying with the love hypothesis and its acknowledging of tropes and stuff. But I do think that he almost is talking to the reader sometimes, even though it's third person. So, and he's just, the way he writes dialogue to me is very funny too. And Geralt's very witty. So I like that. He's witty. His wittiest version is the book version. If you got more of Geralt though, that would be nice.
I just wish the Witcher was following the Witcher. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I just want the Witcher.
Yeah.
Geralt. I want him in the series. And he is not in the actual series. Hardly at all.
He is hardly there.
It bothers me.
I just wanted more fantasy, less wandering through a war-torn countryside.
Well, it's funny because that's a lot of Baptism of Fire, but Baptism of Fire is my favorite because you get Geralt and you get Dandelion and you get what is his name? The dwarf he ends up showing up in the game.
I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
And you get Regis,
the vampire guy. Sorry, was that a spoiler?
Not really.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Nothing happens in these books. Nobody cares.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I honestly did not think that was.
I have like one or two of them, not even like sequential because I got the book 1, but I think I might have 3, whatever. But now I don't think I'm gonna read them because
just save them for a cold night. They will make you warm when you set them on fire.
You say this, but you have the whole series on your shelf.
For now. I mean, it's way off. That's not anywhere near where I film.
You also... You also sent me the pictures of the new covers that they're going to
because I knew that you would like them.
I feel like there was
I'm a good
also
friend.
an undercurrent of you like those covers too.
The new ones?
Yeah.
I mean, they look better than these.
Yes.
I do like the short stories for
Yeah.
The Witcher. Those are good.
I liked Season of Storms actually quite a bit.
Maybe
because
I
it's
should read
about
that.
Geralt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like a side quest.
It is. That's exactly how I described it. Yep. But anyway, yeah, nice try, Roger.
I mean, they're trash. They'll
Like,
keep you very warm when you burn them.
Oh my god.
What were you
I
gonna
just
say,
don't.
Jeff?
I haven't unhauled yet. There's a pile down here.
oh, these
So
are
they
my
may make
these
their way
need to
over
go.
there.
And I'm like, they'll leave one day. I'm trying to think because there are some books like I liked, but you loved, and I like, I'm not. I mean, I could, but
Do it.
I'm just
Do it.
I'm just thinking.
What about Jade City? I feel like Jess and Elle could battle that out.
Did you read Jade City? I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, she did not like it.
Did you read Jade City, Jesse?
I've read it. I liked it, but I didn't like love it. Like I gave it 4 stars.
I like the
that
jazz
means
hands that
that-
go with that.
As 4 stars, that is good because it is excellent. And what did you
It's
not
very-
like or something?
It's very subjective. I mean, it's funny because I hype that series up a lot, even though I
Wait, your opinion is subjective?
Never
I'm
heard
leaving.
crazy. I
I'm
thought I was
leaving.
the arbiter of good taste.
No.
No, I obviously yes, books are subjective, but I think that book, I understand why so many people like it, and on paper, it's everything I like. I just couldn't care less about any of those characters.
Wow.
Ron to me was like so dull. And then Hilo was
was
the
Ron?
exact opposite. He was such a hothead. And then Shay is so like, I'm finding myself. What do
Oh
I
my God,
want?
Shay. Okay, their family, the history there, and she left. That's
By
very
history, do you mean
different from
Hilo
one
calling
in
his
the
own
book.
sister a whore? You mean that?
I mean, Hilo has strong emotions. Let me tell you what. I'm gonna ride for Hilo to the end.
I will
Ride or
say,
die, no question. I'm here.
I'm teasing that aspect of Hilo. It's not like I saw that and I was like, he's dead to me. How dare he? Because I'm like, yeah, he does run hot, we'll say.
Mhm.
But I just don't. I mean, Lon to me. Andon was sweet. I did like Andon. I mean, he's not as big of a deal as the others in that first book. But yeah,
Have
I
you read
just,
them all or just the first one?
just the first one because I'm like,
He's very important in the second half.
the second and third ones cover
Second
a
half.
lot of time. So I know the third one you get like descendants, I'll say, of some of the other. And I'm like, in a trilogy, I don't usually like that in books anyway. Like anytime a book, I made a video of anti-bookish buzzwords around this particular thing. Whenever I see multi-generational in a synopsis, I'm almost always like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. Because I don't like going over a large span of years that show like one character, now they're a parent, and now you're following their child, and then you see their child and stuff.
Because you don't get to sit with their depression enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the character work to me was phenomenal, but it's fine. You like depressed Kaladin and think he's the bee's knees. And okay, I like Stormlight, but Kaladin is aggravating. I'm like, oh my God, get it together.
Oh, I can pull the like, how dare you? That's actually what it's like. Don't be mean to people who.
What
I
is
can
this?
pull it.
Are you like
That's-
living your exorcist fantasy?
I'm
Like
playing the card.
the power of Christ compels you? Like what is that?
Is it holy water? I mean, we're fighting here. So fighting words. Kaladin is, I mean, I get Brandon trying to do mental health representation. Look, I picked up my bag of antidepressives and anxiety medications last week. Okay, bag. Okay, I understand. I appreciate it, but Kaladin just, oh my God, we get it, sir. You're not a surgeon. Like, I need you to get it together. Like, he just really brings me down.
I love him.
I love Kaladin.
I love him.
I'm going to reread them eventually. Eventually, that's a lot of pages. But yeah,
You read Rhythm of War, right?
I mean,
Me?
I
Yes.
haven't read. I've only read the first 2.
Oh, that's
And
right.
Oh, well.
Because you keep
Get ready
going.
for more
I want you to read. Because you keep going. I want you to read
Yeah.
Oathbringer so I can tell you a certain thing that somebody got wrong about something. And
Roger and Jesse know what that is.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? I missed that. What?
Jess was saying I kept telling her I really need her to read Oathbringer because there's something in it that I can't talk about because it's a spoiler,
Mhm.
but somebody just missed it entirely, and I was like, "How do you
got it
miss
wrong.
Oh,
it?"
okay, got it.
But at the same time, it's not helpful when I'm like, Oathbringer is my least favorite. Ugh, over it. So like, Jess doesn't really have much motivation.
Yeah, I
Well,
tried
okay.
to start it last year and then I got in this big slump and I haven't. But I'm torn because obviously, well, probably next year we would get number 5 and I would want to reread them up to then. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should just wait and then reread the first 2 and then read the next one. But then I also don't get to be part of the hype train like when Rhythm of War was coming out and everyone was excited. And I was like, I mean, kind of, but I haven't read the other ones.
I feel like if
Yeah.
you
I mean,
start
right now.
yeah, you could start now and then like every other month pick one up.
Yeah. Here's something that I think Oathbringer is fantastic at. Oathbringer is Daddy Dalinar's book, and he is such a
After
good character.
talking about romance books, I just hear that in like a certain way.
I saw somebody call him Daddy Dalinar once, and
Oh
I
my God.
lost it. I thought,
No,
oh,
it's true.
thing
I feel like Dalinar is a hottie low key. I feel it. I'm there for
I
it.
love him. And Oathbringer gives him so much more depth that's so fascinating. Like, that's the best part of that book, in my
It is.
opinion.
I agree. Well, there's a couple scenes I really like, but I agree, Jesse, that I think the backstory, I'm maybe unpopular opinion. I think the backstory is very compelling and very good. But then modern Dalinar plotline, I think is so boring in that book.
You
And-
sit less with people's feelings in Oathbringer, and therefore Al likes it the least.
You spent a lot of time with Dalinar in his feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like Dalinar.
Sean always says Dalinar is trying to Skype. He's trying to have Skype sessions with everybody all the time, which like it really does. After the pandemic, it is like he's constantly trying to hold Zoom meetings, like trying to get people together. Like we need to handle this crisis, and everyone's like, no. He's like, well, what if I use this new form of magical technology to communicate with you? Will this work now? And they're like, no. And it's just one work meeting after the next.
He's trying. He wants
He's
to communicate.
trying.
What's the gal's name that we get her story in the second one? What's her name?
Shalon?
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking of someone else, and I kept being like, her name is not just Shauna. And I kept thinking just Shauna's name. And I'm like, no, it's something.
Oh, are you talking about Yasna?
Yeah. But I was like,
Oh,
that's
you
not
don't get-
her. But
you don't get
in my head,
Yasna's
I kept
perspective
hearing
in book
just
2.
Shauna.
You're like, did you combine Yasna
Yes.
and Shalon together?
That's so
No,
funny.
It's
I
something
see,
else.
I see.
But yeah, how do you, okay, so out of because Kaladin, Dalinar, and Shalon, obviously you're putting Kaladin number 1. Then how do you feel about the other 2?
I love Dalinar because of Oathbringer.
I think that I can't say too much because my Shalon's perspectives get very much tied to some other things, and those are things I don't care about as much. Like they're interesting given the where it's going. Like what her perspective, what it's leading to is interesting, but because I do like the kind of more intimate like her stuff is very big and what it's how am I trying to say? I'm trying not to give away spoilers here, but
Well, then you could just put them in order. 1, 2, 3.
well, I find her plot line where it's going to not be as it's interesting, but not as much my taste.
So Shalon is 3. She doesn't like her, but she just doesn't want to
No,
say.
I actually think she might be second for me, and I think Dalinar might be third.
Okay.
Oh
I just I like Dalinar as a character, but his plot lines to me are always not as interesting.
Yeah. I'll say after Oathbringer, he does take a little bit of a backseat in Rhythm of War. But I love him in Oathbringer. So if that helps you feel a little bit more motivated, he has an awesome plotline in Oathbringer that I can't say.
Right.
I really liked Rhythm of War, but I get why some people it's their least favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite, but I can also see why it's people's least favorite.
It's my favorite, and people who don't love it are just wrong. So, but it
Yeah, I
also
love
gets very
that.
sciencey with the magic system. So that
Oh,
like the
yeah.
experiments, I
I
like.
thought that was cool.
I liked the relationship between those two characters too.
Yes, agreed.
But that's always what
Actually,
I've
one of
liked
my-
the most about Sando is that he does his like magic almost sciencey, and
Yeah.
you very much get the flavor of his like dabbling in biochem when he was an undergrad or whatever he did.
Yeah.
It's dabbling. Yes. I'm trying to look at behind you and I'm like, let me see back there. What did I? No, I really like Strange the Dreamer. I can't really.
I know
yell about
that's
that
what I
one.
was doing when I was watching your bookshelf tour. I was like, oh, no, I love the Queen Chronicles. I love when, God damn it. Like,
Wait, did you finish? No, we're not going to go there. So I'm not going to do that because
did I what?
I was going to ask Elle a question about a book if she finished. And I was like, we're not going to do that because this will get ugly.
You have to do it.
So now you have to.
Did you finish Amari?
Yeah, I liked it. It's so cute.
Wait, you said liked it though? Liked
Well,
it?
it's middle
Just
grade,
liked it?
and
Yes, you can love middle grade, so you just
I
liked
know
it?
you can. I know you can. I'm not as
Okay.
big. I have a harder time with middle grade, like loving it the same way, because it's usually not as like, as Roger put it, like look at this person being depressed for hundreds of pages. That's usually not what you get with middle
Amari
grade.
is going through it. Okay, she has lost her brother, and there's emotion and feeling there, but it's fine. At least she liked
no,
it. I guess that's something. But I'm starting to question your taste. Okay.
Say that, wait, you're sad that I don't love it more than everything else.
Not everything else, but like I'm trying to think of a book I liked. Like I just read a thriller called something. I liked it. Like
Jess, I have a question because I see. I mean, I always see your Poppy War sprayed edges that are just
Those
the
are
most
so cool.
spectacular thing ever. Did you like The Burning God?
liked, not love.
Okay.
Okay, well, there's a book that you liked and didn't love. Jesse, get mad.
Did you?
No, I
love
didn't.
it?
I didn't like really
Oh,
like it.
No, I was like the first half. I was there.
Yes.
But then when we get to the second half, and I'm like, oh, so we've been doing all of this for this?
Yes. Right. Yes.
Rebecca.
Agreed. I was like, wait, what was the point of all of that?
Because I was riding
no
with. I was like, okay, we're getting. I know this gonna be good once we get there, and it wasn't.
Correct. I agree.
You know what? I was thinking about rereading the first one and then maybe like continuing on. And I was already so on the fence as to whether I wanted to do that.
Oh, the first two are amazing. Like, if you don't love the first two, don't. Yeah. I wouldn't read it.
Like the whole, I think Mara says it well when she said like, well, she says she loves the series as a whole more than its individual parts. I love the first two books, and then obviously how I feel about the third one, but I still think the story altogether, I still really love. Yeah. And like, the Dragon Republic, I remember being like,
so good. So good.
So Jesse,
death.
Oh no.
On your shelves, you had House of Earth and Blood. Have you read the second book?
No, I haven't yet because I got it. And then I saw y'all's reviews and was like, well, I think I'm going to push it off for a bit. It's not a priority. Because I, with House of Earth and Blood, the first 200 pages, I was like, I don't know that this is for me. I did not like her world building at all in the first book. And because I don't love like urban fantasy in general, but I also didn't love that she threw every magical creature at you possible. Like literally name a magical creature and it's in it. And I was like, can we focus on like a couple? Because then we can like really dive deeper.
All of them.
But she just took the shelf of fantasy pictures and just went and put it all in. And I was like, okay, fine. But by the end, I was bawling. So, like, the ending was so good. And I was so excited for the second one. And then I saw your reviews.
It's so long. Is this supposed to be a trilogy? Do you know?
I don't know.
Because good God, those books are like what, 700 pages? 800
Does Homegirl know how to make a trilogy?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Like, why stop? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, I knew those weren't for me. So I'm like,
I was interested in that series, but I'm not gonna read it. That second sounded so.
Oh yeah.
I usually am one to say, like, even if my friends aren't like me, I mean, that's literally the whole point of this video, right? A lot of us disagree and we still can talk about books and whatever, and we still pick up books. Like when you guys were talking about the thriller, Jess and I are like, oh, I kind of am interested in that.
Yeah, let me see if my library has it.
Just knowing my taste.
It's such garbage. Nobody ever wants it. I didn't even have to wait. It was just borrow.
I mean, I don't really have a defense for that.
It's like when
when did it come out?
A while
A long
ago.
time
I don't
ago.
know.
Oh, okay.
It's like when you see books that you like always at your used bookstore, and you're like, this makes me sad. Why is this always here?
There's multiple copies. This is. I bet you every used bookstore is going to be having Book of Night in there. Because everybody's going to be getting rid of that.
I haven't read it. I got it in my Aluma crate.
I was
my mommy
telling
paid for.
Roger, I randomly. Okay,
I'll be right back.
Let me finish what. Okay, I'm gonna finish what I was saying about House of Sky and Breath, which is just that I know my taste well enough to know like the things that are in that book are not. I'm not gonna enjoy. But anyway,
you don't like tightening of male anatomy. That doesn't just make you like, oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. I liked the cover of the first one. And then when the second cover came out at first, because I was like, I love blue and teals and all that. But the closer, I don't know. I don't like it. Like when I just like look at it, I don't like it.
I thought I was the only one who didn't like it. Everyone was like loving it. And I was like, I don't think this is
I don't like it.
Oh, should we talk about the greatest sad shift in covers? This isn't arguing. This is just how
Black Sun to Fevered Star.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, have you read Fevered Star?
Yeah. Just, you know what, Jesse, you're wearing orange. You can demonstrate for us today.
I hate it.
I really don't like.
And I love this cover.
I love that cover.
Cool. That. And then
is her head like exploding in the other one? Like what's happening?
She's like,
she's becoming the sun. Not really, but symbolically it feels like it.
So much. No, thank you.
Who's read Red Rising?
I have.
Okay. I know, Elle, that you like the series overall.
The trilogy.
The trilogy, not the spinoff. Jess, what did you think of it?
It was dull. It was dull. Yeah, it felt like it was 700 pages, and yet it was like 370. It was.
I'm curious how many words per page, because I do feel like it does feel longer.
I remember reading it and being like, dang, I'm still not finished. I thought Darrow was whack. And I did like the little I want to say Serapio, but that's not him. Severo. But I read that like 2017, so I don't remember a lot about it. I just remember it feeling like a slog, and I didn't like Darrow at all. I just thought like, and I love gruesome things, so I don't remember exactly what didn't work for me. I just was like, dang, I wanted to like this book because Pierce Brown is cute, but it didn't work. It didn't work. Sorry, Pierce.
Yeah, I'm like reading my review because I read it back a long time ago, and I gave it 2 stars. And I really didn't like it. And I think my biggest gripe with it was the writing style, unfortunately. Like, I remember all those made up words, like the slang words that were just like compound words of like 2 things together. And it was like every other word was made up, and I couldn't stand it. And like the dialogue was super choppy. The like sentences.
I don't like his
I did not like the writing.
Made up words are always a hit or miss. Sometimes especially if it's a swear word and it's annoying and they use it every other sentence, you're like, oh my God. But yeah, I don't think I'm trying to read my review. I said, well, that was underwhelming.
So I really liked Red Rising. I didn't like Golden Sun as much as everyone else. Most people are like, Red Rising's not very good, but Golden Sun is when it gets good. And I feel like for me, I didn't like Golden Sun as much because it very much felt like it was leaning more into sci-fi, like space battle type of things. And also I really didn't like how he did this one reveal in the book. There's a moment where it's like, actually, it turns out, but it was one of those things where he didn't really foreshadow it, in my opinion, at all. So it came out of nowhere, where it's just like, it can't be cool. It can't be a cool reveal. Like it. So basically, there's a character who it seems very much like this character has no chance against this other one. But then they're like, turns out this character has been training with the best of the best this whole time. And you're like, okay, like, cool, I guess. And then so it turns out actually they do have a chance. And I was like, that was underwhelming. So I didn't love the second one, but the end, I was like, oh shoot, in the second one. And then I really liked the entire third book. I thought it was really good. So
I got like the whole, I think I still have my first one because like I got it somewhere on vacation, so I like kept it as a souvenir or whatever. But I guess in my review I also talked about once they get to the school, which is weird. I usually love a school setting, but I wrote that it felt tedious because he was like chronicling day to day and just felt really slow. But I said Daryl was a bore and generic character. He gave me Gary Stu. What do they call the dudes?
Yeah. Gary Sue.
Yeah, or like
I literally said he
Gary Stew. Is that a stew made up of a man named?
What's the male version of Mary Sue?
Yeah, you're right. It's Gary Stew.
Okay.
People say Stew. I thought it was Mary Sue or Gary Sue. Is it Stew? I don't know.
I thought it was Stew.
I thought they changed it for the. I asked this on Twitter a while ago. Let me find it.
Wow. Okay. My bad. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm gonna type in. I'm just gonna start typing in Gary Sue meaning.
Like, what is okay? I said, what do we call a male character who's a Mary Sue? Mark, Sam, Michael.
You're right. It is a Stu.
Gary Stu, but they said STU.
Yeah, you're right. I think that sounds dumb.
I liked Michael, Steve, or Mark, Sam. Those were my options, but Gary Stu was everyone.
I feel really stupid. I always thought it was Mary Sue, or they just changed it to Gary. But you know, I'm dumb sometimes. So I also like never go on Twitter. So
you're missing
not
out.
that's an excuse.
I mean, it's a constant dumpster fire.
I have so much fun there. I don't know who you're following. You just gotta watch.
I'm following you.
You just gotta watch the mess from the side. But then also, I like to retweet dumb stuff from, from people. But when it's like mess, I'm just screenshotting. I'm not trying to reply.
I was gonna say you screenshot and you'll then send inbox or like this is dumb.
Instead of I'm not quote tweeting on my time. No, I have seen that go left too many times. So no. That's what group chats are for.
Oh my god, so funny.
Anyways, Red Rising.
I wanted to like Red Rising because the covers and the special editions, and I thought about reading other ones now. But
I know I've thought about rereading it. And I'm like, but there are so many other series that I want to read. What was the other one I was going to bring up? Roger, have you read Rage of Dragons? Darn. Jess?
Me either, and I need to so I can know what side I fall on.
I really don't know, Jess. If Mara DNF'd it.
What I hear about with Tao, the main character, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
He's very ragey, right? He's like angry all the time.
Yeah.
I can take an angry character. It's really hard for me to take a reckless, stupid character.
Then you should definitely not read Crescent City.
Well, I don't like when characters, they think so little about what they're about to do. Like they don't recognize that it puts other people in danger, or that their actions can lead to like, oh, like other people can literally die. Or the best part, I mean, Joshana, and this, I feel bad because I feel like even people who like the series are like, yeah, that part's dumb, is the part where there's a whole paragraph about how he sees his enemy that he wants to kill, and he realizes the enemy doesn't know he's there. So there's this whole paragraph about like he's like a snake in the grass, like he's gonna get him. And then right after that, he shouts the guy's name, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Why? Like you could have easily just gone in like." And instead, he's like, "Ah!" You're like, "Why would you do that? Why?"
Two books out? 3?
There's 2.
too.
I do think that the themes are. I really liked the themes, and the world was cool. The magic and how he levels up. We'll say, like, I thought all of that was cool. I think there are technically a couple of other perspectives a few times in the book, but not enough to where I would say it's like seriously a multiple point of view story. But I think I would have enjoyed it more if we had gone to other perspectives, because I found one of the other characters really interesting, and that character was more involved in the magic, so I would have liked to have seen that. And also, so much of it is grinding. I mean, it's just him getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and I think that could have benefited from being like broken up a little bit, because then by the time you come, by the time you come back to him, it's like time has passed, and so it makes sense that you get like, oh, he's improved since the last we saw him, and instead it's like, now I'm getting better at this, now I'm getting better at this,
So it's almost pseudo progression fantasy. That doesn't bode well for me.
I got the audio
in manga, like, I'm gonna get stronger.
I've discovered that there's a whole subgenre of fantasy where people literally, like, that's the whole point of the book, is they get slightly better at some skill or something, and I'm just like,
he gets more than slightly better.
I don't mind watching a character start from the bottom and work their way up, but I need there to be something else. Like, that's not the only part.
Yeah. And like that wasn't even what bothered me about it. It's the I didn't love like the writing style of it, like the very dramatic, over the top, like every chapter would end on, and then he would go get his revenge spot. And then like next chapter, and you're like,
dun dun dun.
Like, super dramatic. And then it's like,
revenge next chapter. So I had to go to the training yard early.
Now is his moment.
Oh, I hope this is how the audiobook sounds. Or I'm going to be disappointed.
It's sad. Nobody here likes the book, so it's just turning into us. Like,
well, I know a book that I feel like Jesse and I both like this book, because I just turned to my right and I see it here, and it was The Firekeeper's Daughter. And Elle just came in and she just put her nasty feelings over our positive, happy thoughts about this book, and was like, I didn't like it. It was traumatic. And I was like, how dare you?
I just want to say, the guy that is undercover is the absolute worst undercover investigator ever, because hold on, I have to put up, hold on, spoilers. Oh wait, wait, I put that as a comment because I'm an idiot. Create a banner. It was like, you can't put a comment on a private video. Spoilers. Okay. He's literally, like, his whole part of the investigation is he is hanging out with these, they play hockey, right? He's hanging out with the hockey players, who it turns out are the ones who are behind everything. And he's like pretending to be a high school. It's very like 21 Jump Street kind of thing. And he's with them all the time. And he didn't figure out even a little bit that they were the ones who did it. How did he miss that? That's like, he goes to practice with them. Like, the things are in the pucks. How did he not figure any of that out?
Well, who would open the puck though? Like, I don't play hockey.
I know, but he's around those guys all the time, and they're the ones like
really well. You know, he was still an outsider. They didn't want to let him in. Okay, and a lot of the people in the town were in on it. He didn't infiltrate everybody. Okay, no, he wasn't perfect. I mean, what police officer?
He didn't infiltrate everybody. That sounds like a very boring book.
Okay, I had to. There's the spoilers.
Stop it.
I will say that was one. Not the most important thing about the book, right? It was just like a personal thing. I'm like, why didn't it's not the main focus. So I do think that like the purpose of the book and what it's highlighting is very important.
What she went through, her family, how they treated the elders. I love like when they went to, I can't remember what it was called, where the elders kind of would hang out. And she would just hang out and talk to them, and like, I'll make you this mix CD, or
I know, I did like
whatever. And just, you know, the little things about, it's Ojibwe, I think the author is. Those little things and little stories about Turtle Island and the way she did her, what was it, like the tobacco every morning before she ran? I don't know. It spoke to me.
I also, I think the biggest thing for me is because so many of the things that it's focusing on are so important. and I think the YA age range serves its. Sorry, is it you that's echoing again, Jess? Okay, sorry. I think that it serves its purpose and like it introduces these things to young readers. And if you're older and you're reading it, it's not that you can't be introduced to these things or you can't gain more insight because you're an older reader or anything. But I wished it had been adult so we could have gone a little bit more into it. But I almost feel like we couldn't really highlight because there's some really tragic things that happen in it. What is happening right now?
Wait, what's going on? Well, I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Oh my god.
Can you type it in the private chat or are you rendering?
Just look at your Voxer.
I don't have my notifications turned on. This is very unprofessional.
Sorry.
Roger.
Saw your message, and I didn't
Roger.
see the image.
Why did you send that? Oh my god. You couldn't wait until we were done.
Sorry, Firekeeper's daughter.
Okay. I was talking about important things. You're such a child.
That was great.
Roger. Okay, so we filmed a video with Mara, and
Oh my goodness.
he in the private chat kept putting stuff in about like tentacles and all these like weird things in urban fantasy, and I was like, it was like I would see the little red thing saying there was something in private chat. So this time I was very confused because I'm like, I don't know what is happening. I thought I said something that like just set you off, Roger, because I know how you are.
Oh my god.
But Roger, clearly you clearly didn't understand because that is not the location that was being described in that part. So
Oh my goodness.
Firekeeper's daughter, very tough. Yes, I understand. Tough.
We love Firekeeper's.
Roger just threw it all off.
I feel bad if anybody ends up making it this far into the video. They're gonna be like, "What was it?" And then Roger, it's you
You
gotta.
can DM me on Instagram.
You know what? On Wednesday or how about Thursday, when this goes up, you share it to your Instagram stories.
Deal.
And then tag. Oh, Jesse doesn't really go on Instagram, but you can tag Jess and myself if you'd like, and Worldhoppers, I guess. I don't know. Remember, everybody, it's for charity.
Buy a narwhal shirt.
The cute little, you know what? That cute little narwhal shouldn't be spoken in the same arena as. It's too innocent.
That's right. Do not speak his name next to the love hypothesis. Ugh, shame.
Anyway, it has now been almost an hour and a half, and we are just getting into a giggle fit about things Roger finds funny. Wait, okay. Where did you find that? How long have you been even paying attention since?
It was like a 15-second Google search.
What did you search to find that?
Hamster eating banana.
Why?
Because I remembered mentioning it when Jess was talking about it originally in the love hypothesis, and I haven't read the Firekeeper's daughter, so I was like, whatever. Like,
I see. Okay. But how did you know to look up that?
because when it was going around back in the day when Dragon Age Inquisition first came out, and you could be the Iron Bull, and you could romance the Iron Bull as a dwarf. And so there was like animated gifs of like a hamster with a banana because people picturing a dwarf with Iron Bull is like this 8-foot tall dude. And you can have schmexy times with him if you romance him later in the game.
I see.
Oh my god. I have a cramp in my stomach.
I'll just look disappointed in.
I'm not disappointed. I will say, Sean said something the other day that I was like, wow, it's a really good thing that Roger isn't here right now. He said, I think he was obviously not talking about something dirty. That's generally how it goes with the things you find funny. He said, like, if I could touch it. Oh, I know what it was. It was in a chat with Enrique and Connor. And he was like, if I could touch it for but a moment. And I was like, it's a good thing Roger's not in this chat.
I mean, Jess has already seen when she was like, oh, he was infiltrating everybody. And I was like, ooh, oh.
No, you said you were sad. It sounded like a boring book because he wasn't infiltrating everybody.
Facts.
But for those that don't know, Roger and I play video games together and we have the headsets. And the amount of times where like I'll say something and then I will just not, because I'm like waiting, I'll pause because I know Roger's got to like get it out that he found it dirty.
I have the humor of a 13-year-old boy. It's okay. I admit it. Am I 31 and should have grown out of it?
Andy Weir.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you would like The Marsh.
Actually, yes.
A good way to bring us back, you know, to topic
You should
here.
definitely read Andy Weir. Because I have the same humor and I love it.
Well, every time I hear his name, I'm always like, Andy Weiner.
He's on brand. Well, anywho, thanks everybody for arguing today. It was lots of fun. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Also, be careful if you do try to search what Roger described.
Many of them are cute. I picked the least cute one.
Okay.
Many of them are cute little like slices, and they're just like, and then there's other ones where it's like,
like the one you found.
I sent one of the tamer ones.
Did you?
Oh yes, I'll send you the gift too. But anyways, Worldhoppers.
Buy merch for charity.
Yes, and subscribe. Although you probably already subscribed if you've watched for this long. Everybody's channels will be linked. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.